Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna chat all about how to know when you should go full-time in your small business. I feel like this is a huge question that so many people have because you probably start your business as a side hustle while working a full-time job, and you're trying to figure out when you should make the switch and when you should go full-time in your business. So we're gonna talk a little bit today about my thoughts on that and when you should go full-time and all of that. So in full transparency, I do want you guys to know that I went full-time in my business straight out of college. So I kind of had the goal when I started my business, my senior year of high school, that when I graduated college 4 years later, that I'd be able to go full-time with it. And to be honest, I probably could have gone full-time about halfway through college, and I almost quit college and did it, but I ultimately decided to go ahead and finish college and go full-time once I graduated. So I don't necessarily have that story of like choosing to go full-time on a certain date or something like that, but I do want to give you guys some thoughts. And if I was in a position where I was still working a full-time job and I needed to decide when I wanted to actually go full-time in my business, these are the things I would have been thinking about. These are the things that I encourage you to think about when you're thinking about whether or not you should go full-time. So the first thing is finances. I feel like this is kind of where you have to start, right? Because it's one of the biggest things. And the last thing I want you to do is to go full-time in your small business and to be stuck and not be able to afford it. So even though finances might not be as fun to think about, I really want to encourage you to think about it as one of the first stepping blocks or stepping stones into, why did I say blocks? Oh my gosh. Stepping stones into becoming a full-time business owner. Because honestly, when you have financial freedom, you have so much freedom in your business just as a whole. So I really want you to think about finances. I know that can be really scary to think about, but the biggest thing that I would tell you to have is, number one, have at least 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund saved up both in your business and in your personal life. So if your business is not bringing in any income, that you're able to support yourself and support your business for 3 to 6 months. I would err on the side of 6 months if you don't have, maybe you're not married and don't have anyone else supporting you. And you could probably err on the side closer to 3 months if you do rely on someone else for the majority of your income and you're not really the breadwinner, if that makes sense. So that's what I would encourage you. Have an emergency fund. And if you're sitting here thinking, well, then how much should that fund be? That's going to be different for every single person, right? Your expenses are going to be different. How much you spend in your business, how much you spend in your personal life, how extravagant your life is or non-extravagant it is. It's going to be totally different for everybody. So that means you're probably going to have to do a little bit of work and sit down and figure out how much you spend in your business, what your expenses are every year, typically on a monthly basis, how much your expenses are personally, and how much you're spending in your personal life, and how much you need to bring to the table in that. That's what you're going to have to look at and figure out what you need to do in order to be able to go full time. So that's the first step. Figuring out as a whole your finances and what you need to have in order for you to go full time. Because the last thing you want to do is go full time in your business and be super excited about it and throw up this cute photo on Instagram and get a bunch of praise for it. And then 2 months later, you're stuck because you have no money left to pay your bills. You have no money left for your business expenses. And now you have to go try to scrap and find a part-time job or another full-time job because you don't have any money left. So that's the main thing that I would really consider. The first biggest thing that I would have in place before I went full-time. The second I think about is, do you have consistent bookings in your business, or do you have consistent income in your business? Whether you're a service-based business or an online product shop or graphic designer or any other kind of whatever business you are, do you have consistent income coming in? I think that goes without saying, but do you have consistent income coming in for several months that could match those expenses you have and match the salary you need to make? Because having those consistent bookings is going to help you once you transition into being full-time to not only have that emergency fund saved up, but ideally you don't really want to dip into that emergency fund unless it's an emergency, right? So you want to be able to have a track record of bringing in enough income to cover your expenses, to cover your salary. And one book that I really recommend that you read is called Profit First. And I am still working through this book. I'm about halfway through right now, but it's really just such a great book for prioritizing your salary over business expenses. So if you feel like you're overspending in your business and you're able to keep up with your business expenses, but then you have nothing left to pay yourself, let's flip flip that around and I want you to read Profit First because it is one of the most game-changing books I have read recently. And oh my gosh, it's just, I feel like everyone needs to read it because it can literally change your life in the area of your finances and just affect you in so many ways. So I really encourage you to do that. Read that book. If you feel like you need to switch some things around, it's really going to help you to see where you need to change some things. And then another thing you need to think about is, where is your tipping point? So when I say tipping point, what I mean by this is that you have automated as much as you can in your business and you've also outsourced as much as you possibly can while maintaining those expenses and making your profit a priority, that you've done those things and you still feel like you're burning out. I can think, for example, one of my good friends, when she was deciding to go full time, she had outsourced so much in her business and had so many people helping her, but she was still feeling like she was working so hard, her business was growing so fast, and she just could not keep up with having a full-time job and her business. So I feel like that's something really to think about. And if you're at the point where, financially you can't go full-time in your business yet, or it just would not be a good idea because you rely on your income so much, I would really think about what are some things you can do to automate your business more? What are some things you can do to outsource more, because you'll actually make more money by outsourcing because you can book more or do more or sell more because you do that. I would think about those things, and that's really going to help you to figure out what are the things that you need to change in order to keep growing your business or keep sustaining your business while you're in your full-time job. The more that you can automate and outsource, the better, more your business is going to grow. And that's something that Profit First also touches on a lot. It's the idea of automating as much as you can before you outsource. And I think that's so important. I think that's something that a lot of business owners miss, is it's still really important to make sure you're automating things as much as possible. So having workflows for everything, being organized with things, and having systems in place and streamlining things so that when you do pass it off to someone, your expense for that is not going to be as high because they're not going to have to spend all this time figuring it out. You're already going to have a system in place. So if you haven't already, make sure you're automating and streamlining as much as possible. And then once you do that, then outsourcing as much as you can without doing the things so there's people doing the things that you don't have to do in your business. And I think when we talk about the tipping point, it's what's that point where you've done all those things and you're running your business and you're working your full-time job and you feel like you just can't keep up with it all, and that you're burning yourself out and you're burning yourself out of everything, or maybe you have no social time or no free time or a personal life. So figuring out where that tipping point is to where you're working so hard and you have things so automated, and you're working hard not in the sense because you don't have things automated, but because you already have a lot of things automated. You have people on your team helping you, and your business is growing so fast you can't keep up with it. So if the financial side is in place and you have the finances to do it, you're feeling called to do it, and you're at that tipping point where you can't keep up with both anymore, then that's where I would say that I would probably make that jump to go full time. If not then pretty soon in the future. That's what I would think about if I was in that position. And remember, at the end of the day, being full-time in your business does not equal success. There are so many successful business owners that still do something else full-time, that still have a full-time job and keep their business as a side hustle, especially like artists and makers and creators and photographers and people who just like to create and have it as more of their side hustle. It's totally okay to keep it that way. If you love your full-time job, don't feel the pressure to go full-time in your business. Don't feel like you have to do that in order to succeed. There's so many people who are so successful that don't do that. So I don't want you to feel this pressure like you have to go full-time in order to be successful. But if you are feeling called to make that jump and you feel like you're at that tipping point where you can't keep doing both for very much longer, and you have the finances in place to do it, where you're going to have freedom still in your business, then I would say to go for it. And it's one of the best journeys you can do. Being an entrepreneur is so awesome, and I absolutely love it. It's such an awesome thing just to be your own boss and to do your own thing. And I'm just excited for you. And if you're kind of at that point where you're trying to figure out whether or not you should go full time or what you should do with that, feel free to drop a comment. I would love to just chat with you guys and help you and talk through it, answer any questions you have. Also give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe, because when you do those two things, helps other people to see my channel and helps to support it. And I just really appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for you guys. So grateful that you guys are following along. It's just been so awesome sharing all this free content with you guys. And I share new videos on Tuesday and Friday, so be sure to stay tuned for new videos soon, and I can't wait to share more with you guys next time. Bye guys.